Hello. I know you must be exhausted, especially 10 minutes before lunch. However, now we have a few minutes for questions. I know Maciej had one. I see a second. You can also write them on Slido at the moment, but it's preferable to ask in person.
Yeah, I had a question to the UX team, and I can see they are back there. I had basically two questions. The first was, it wasn't really clear to me the border between the recommendations of not making too much edits on the infrastructure, because then you have to maintain it as a repository provider. But at the same time, we want to custom that to the user needs, which by itself requires some customization on the UI interface and so forth. So what is the basic idea or the guidance in how to think about that? So this is the first question. And the second, what is the ideal process of getting the groups that are building the repositories, how should they interact with the UX team? It's clear that they should contact you, of course, that makes sense. But what is the ideal scenario? Should we contact the UX team as soon as possible at the beginning so we can be in contact when we are thinking an idea, making basic ideas about the interfaces, or is it later in the process? Should we study more? So should we pay more attention to the documents, or will you have the time to walk through this process, every single repository by itself? So these two questions, if you can still remember, both of them are what came to my mind.
I would like to address the first one. So I and my colleagues are the first contact. We will guide you through the process of gathering the requirements. And at first, we want you to brainstorm, to go to the users and to think of what the ideal system would be, everything it could possibly have, and have a complete list with a lot of requirements. And then we prioritize them, and we decide, okay, what actually, and we decide on how much work it actually is, what is costly, and then we do a benefit of the cost and benefits. And those are the things we decide to actually implement and customize in the system. So yes, we do want to have as little extra code, because that is really costly. But if it is extra code that really has the benefit to the users, then it is 100% worth it. Because without it being pleasant for the users to use it, they will not use it. And all the resources we invested in building the repository are not doing what they were supposed to. And I'll hand the word to the UX team to answer the second.
Hello, from down here. Is it okay I answer the question? Okay. For the second question, I think everything goes through the repository specialist or metodice. So whenever you want to contact the UX team, you should always just go through them first. And you should, I think, do it throughout the whole process. So it's a good idea to, whenever you maybe are stuck, or whenever you have, for example, completed the requirements, or you have your first draft of design, I think it's a good idea to contact, for example, Illy, and she will maybe schedule a short meeting where you can run us through it, and we can just give you some short feedback. And he has more questions.
Nah, I just want to be sure that I understand it correctly. So the process is really a co-creation. I mean, we want to be in a contact from the beginning, and then you will just walk us through that.
I would say it's kind of like a supervisor relationship. All right. So it's you're the team and we're the supervisor, and we like to have updates, and we like to answer questions, and we like to give resources, but the work comes from you, and we're there to help.
Makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, thanks.
That's what I wanted to add. When the time comes that it's practical to do some design work and make design decisions, comes from the process of several consultations with the repository system specialists. So the place to begin is still the same, this one. There is that plan, there is those phases that we want to go through. But we know that every every community that will come to us is special. The process will not be serial, but this all starts with a conversation between you as the user group that wants a repository and the repository system specialists. We believe that you know what you want to build. I would ask for a preliminary amount of trust that we are able to really help you to structure the process to achieve your goal. So now we've got like 10 minutes before we disperse to lunch. So I can see that we are losing you much more than we hoped.
I think we have a question.
Along the way. So this is the time where you can tell us right now to our faces what you need to do, what you didn't learn today and you would like to learn, so that we can make it better next time. So, to Rudolf.
Hello, thank you very much. I have a question for Milan. Milan, you showed us an example with provenance information, so I wanted to ask what provenance standards you use in there, or whether you can provide more detailed information on that. Thanks.
Well, there were no specific, like, this wasn't related to specific. Where are you? I don't see you, sorry.
Here, I'm here.
Here. Oh, hello. I just need to wake you up. There was some random information from different repositories, so that wasn't related to any specifics. So we know, of course, that you are working on these provenance standards, and you will work on implementing them into NRP repositories, and it will be like the main thing. So it's generally okay, but currently there are provenance information all around the place. I hope you agree with it. Yeah, and they are in different forms, but there is some. So there is obvious need for some of these things to be written somewhere. And well, I actually didn't spend a lot of time on provenance because they were anyway already driving me out of the podium. But yeah, it can be. It's also an important topic. But well, we will see what will you come up with.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else, please? Ilona.
Hi, sorry, I have only a quick question. I'm very interested in more detailed statistic because we just now have some questionnaire and then we fill KPIs. So I need information about our users. So if they are students or researchers. So is it planned that you have something to do it with this? Because I think that it will be very helpful.
Okay, for specifics, already like system in production, or is it like in general in the future for the repositories on NRP? Because so we have Matomo, which will not be able to tell us if the user is a student or a researcher. However, for logged in users, we are all putting them through the e-system, which is able to tell us some more information about the users, like what institution they are from, and some attributes, especially if the repository states ahead of time this is an important attribute for us, then we can ask for permission and track that as well. If that answers the question.
Okay, anybody else? Yep.
I would like to ask Milan about the fairness. I'm actually working and reading a lot about fair maturity of the data, and I was wondering if there is some criteria for like what is fair enough, what is less that you have in mind.
Well, I think the first still are principles. These are not rules. So the level of fairness, I think. Well, who is asking actually? You know, because it's from which perspective?
I'm
It's,
an
of course,
administrator
difficult.
of Dantec repository on material science. My name is Anastasia Bekele.
I didn't mean it that way, but
Yeah, because
thank
you
you.
asked who is asking. So.
Yeah. I mean, what was the perspective of the question? Because if you need some level of fairness in your repository, then you should have like methodology, and you should make some rules that will establish that. But
maybe I can specify. It was mentioned at the beginning that we are building fair data repositories in NRP. What does it mean for us, and me as a garant and admin?
that is really fair.
What does it mean, fair data? How do I know that the data are fair in my repository?
Daniel wants the microphone. You want it?
Generally speaking, we think this is a domain-specific thing as well. We count on that you've got your own communities where you discuss these things, where you go through fair principles, and you as a user group requesting a repository, do the homework, let's use this term, to come to conclusions which PIDs you are using, how open your data sets will be. Go through the principles and agree inside the community what is fair enough. We are not here to judge whether your level of fairness is to some general matrix fair enough. This is not our role. We are offering services that will enable you to make your data sets fair. But what tools, what specifics you use is up on you. Does that make sense, Marek? This is the ongoing discussion. We are having these discussions with people that are responsible for making NRP as fair as possible. But this is the preliminary stance. And we know from groups that went through defining the level of fairness in their respective community, that this was the hard part. They had to meet several times, in person, long meetings, before they arrived at a specification of fair for their respective repository or field. And we count on this, that this will happen in your communities.
Yeah, so you will accept our settings. So we
Yeah.
will say this is fair, or sufficiently fair.
We can come to that discussion as well and offer you our view, but we are not the judges. You are the community that wants to build a repository, and you want it to be used by your community. Who are we to tell you what is better? We can have our views when we will share them with you, but we are not the final judges. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, Richard.
About identities and digital identity. How about people outside of academia, for example, from governance and that kind of stuff? How they can join the federated authentication?
I maybe did not specify it well enough, but EduID is very broad, so yeah. Okay.
I mean, this is a serious problem which we are trying to deal two ways. In some areas, like for example, the AI which we are providing for the whole cluster of the S3 research infrastructures in the life science, we are hosting something which we call a hoster, which means that we are able to approach these people and give them the opportunity how they how they present themselves and how they certified who they are to be connected to the digital identity. This is a thing which we are providing, in fact, currently for the Elixir, for the BBMRI, large research infrastructures and similar. However, this is something which is cumbersome. So the other thing which we are now looking at, and this is also what the EOSC itself, as the EOSC AAI Federation is doing, is trying to connect us through the governmental issued identities, the ADAS environment. And the idea here is that practically everyone within Europe should be connected to that. Some of you at least probably have digital electronic ID. And through that, we will be able to do the primary vetting that the digital identity is connected to the actual physical person. Still, this is a solution for Europe, and we hope that we will have this next year. But again, the hostel-based stuff is here for people who are outside Europe, because the US or Chinese IDs, we don't want to get too much in touch with that. The whole Asia, Africa, and other continents, they have a completely different way. So in these cases, we are trying to make sure that we have some other ways using certificates, which may be globally issued, and also trying to get to these people to make sure that they are also able to use this. But for the Europe, we hope that this will be solved more or less next year through the governmental issued digital identities.
Yeah, I'm asking explicitly because we have users of our repositories from all around the world, South America, Asia, Africa, and they are random people, not from academia, government. They are even random scientists, independent. So that's the reason I'm asking.
No, I fully understand. We are facing this problem not only, across the whole EOSC, which is exactly where we are here. The point here is that it depends also on your own needs, how you need persons identified. With the rules for the National Repository Platform, I think this was not mentioned explicitly in any presentation, we will require that we know who is storing the data. So for the fact of uploading the data, we want to know the identity of these people. Because in case of security, chasing some cybersecurity thing, we simply, this will be a requirement. But for the access, this will be on you as a repository governors, the people who are responsible for the repository, whether you allow completely open access, whether you would like to work with us on some very lightweight registration, because we can do things if at this moment you are not registering any users and you are just having an open access, then we have no problem. Then we can discuss with you how you are registering users at this moment, what you actually need from them. Because in many cases, the repository, they only need something like email address. That's exactly what we are doing through this hostel stuff at the zero level of identity vetting. If you need something more, we need to discuss with you how to integrate it with what we have, especially if you go across the whole globe. So yes, we face the same problem already in other setups and scenarios. So in most cases, this is, at least we were always able to find a solution for that. And the real important thing is that it will be up to the repository themselves to decide whether they are completely open and don't need any registration of the user, any identification, or whether they need some identification. What we are offering and what we will provide is a kind of what we call heavyweight identification up to the actual physical people, but you may be interested in something which is more lightweight, and we are able to provide this as well.
Thank you very much. One last one, and then we'll...
A related question, how is it with the access for the crawlers, for the AI, for not people, but those who do access?
I mean, we call it usually a service or robotic access, and we are able to provide ways to do this. It depends, again, what are your real needs, whether it is within your own ecosystem or whether you would like to open it to something else. The point is that what we are doing here is a part of the European EOSC AAI Federation. So this is something which again, probably was not explicitly mentioned. The idea is that with your identity here and with this setup, you will be able to access all the EOSC resources across Europe without need of any registration and this. And yes, the robotic is part, but I mean, the presentation was focused to persons. But this is definitely has to be covered because we know and we are using it as well.
Okay, thank you very much, all of you. The lunch is waiting. We've got one last thing to share with you. As you may know, there's a living, thriving community of data stewards in this republic, and EOSC CZ has helped to make this community a thing. We are considering helping to create a community of repo builders as well. One main or key element of the data stewards network is a Discord server, Data Steward CZ, and we are considering a special place inside this this server, so that people who are actually building a repository can meet in this place, help each other, ask questions more informally than through the request tracker system and so on. And we have prepared 3 questions for you to answer. How would you now, at the present state, would like this to go on? So I will present it. You should be able to, yeah, when you when you use the Slido with the code, you should see the questions. So please go through them and give us some answers. Last remark. We wanted today to give you a glimpse of the countryside named NRP. We picked several themes that we think are important for you. It could be right now quite overwhelming and not clear when comes which step. Still, the first step is to go to the page setting up a repository, go through documents and ask for the first consultation. From that point, we will be in contact, we will be in discussion, and we will try to help you go through the process. It will respect your needs. Without this first step, everything is very general. We'll be having another trainings for those who are in the process of building a repository. So this is not the last time we see each other. Thank you very much for your attention, and we start at 1:30. 1:30 in here again. Thank you very much.